Hey all, and this is the Year of the Rabbit event. This is a Dark Slayer event and Immortal Killer. So I have some interesting teams this time around. Immortal Killer opens up quite a few options. A commander deck here that normally hits for around 50q on the first turn. A Slayer team. I got the fourth card from the Vault Tier 1. I got lucky there. A Water Slayer team, this is pretty much a standard deck. Then another Slayer team just for testing. So let's go through the teams, starting with the Dark Commander team. This will probably be my main team for the event, as it's good for getting quick kills on Radiance and doing a bit of damage to Umbrals before someone else defeats them. The cards are Long Night Harbingers, increases Dark Commander damage by 140%, creates some power gems as well. Draconic Pantheon, this has that lovely 550% damage buff, given to one card, given to Lost Covenant. This is 6 pink stars and 5 times awakened as well. Increases self-damage by 300%, converts, upgrades, and creates quite a few power gems. War Machines, this has a decent boost to Dark Commander damage, 225%. Then finally, War's Deathblow for the extra Dark Commander damage. Now moving on to the relics. I've made sure that the relics match with the cards so I have enough Dark Gems to use this team on the very first turn. This relic by itself is enough to break all of the shields. You can see that here. Then just my best Dark Commander relics basically to fill up the other 4 slots, making sure I have at least one card to match with the relic. There we go. That's the relics I'm using with this team. Now moving on to the Dark Slayer team over here. This is all about getting as much damage from the Freedom Fighters as possible. It's an interesting team, but not as quick as the Dark Commander team. The Freedom Fighters is the main hitting card with this team. It has that lovely bonus attack buff. It says 100%, but when you use Battle Boost, it's actually 500%, meaning you can still do really good damage with this card. High Performance Unit area is on the team. That's to get the supercharged buff up, increase Immortal Killer attack, and boost up the Freedom Fighters even further. Striped Sovereigns. This increases Dark Slayer damage by 150%, making it a very good card to have on the team. Moonshine's Mage Change. This is the card I got from the Vault. This has a 560% damage buff to one card, so I want that to go on the Freedom Fighters. Then stacked up with Metaverse Masters with another 150% damage buff. So it's important to activate this in the right order. Use High Performance Unit area first. Once you have supercharged up, I think going 3, 4, 5, then 1 is probably the best order, but you can also go 4, 5, 1, then 3. Onto the relics. The first relic breaks 5 shields in total, nearly getting rid of most of the shields. It's a Dark Commander relic. Then the other relics are Slayer relics. Just scroll through them quickly. There should be another Immortal relic you can see here to finish breaking the shields. Then let's go across. Here's the final relic, an Arcane relic. Right, and if we move across to the next team, this is a pretty standard team that I use for Slayer events. This will hopefully do about as much damage as the other teams, but we will see in testing. The first card is Holiday Saints. That has a lovely 500% damage buff to any water card, either Slayer or Commander. Metaverse Masters again, with that 150% damage buff to any card. Sovereigns of the Dance, Immortal Killer, creates a ton of power gems and converts. Also increases self-damage, making it the hitting card. Hometown Heroes. A good card, increases Water Slayer damage by 175%, plus creates a ton of water power gems. Then finally, High Performance Unit Area again, to get that lovely supercharge buff up, and to boost Sovereigns of the Dance up even further. Then for the relics, I've needed the 2 relics to break all the shields this time around. The first relic here breaks most of the shields, then there's another one if we go a bit further across that breaks the rest of them. Here we go, here's the other immortal relic. There's actually another one here. I've kind of overdone the relics here, I think. Also, Cater's Bow on the team has that slight increase to attack, which I think helps a bit. Then the final team over here is just a variant of the other Dark Slayer team, except without the Freedom Fighters. Moon's Militants is another hitting card, so I have put that on the team instead. Increases self-damage by 200%. This won't do too much damage, so I won't talk through the rest of it, but that's the main change to this team and something you can try. Anyway, that's the teams I'm using for this event. There's not too many options, but it is a mortal killer, so worth trying out various combinations like I have here to find out what works the best. Let's get on with some team testing. Here we go. Alright, so here's the actual event. Sometimes Zodiac bosses spawn during this event, so keep an eye out for those. Not sure why the game has given me all these multi-bosses, but for that reason I'm going to be testing out my teams on these. I will start with the Radiant multi-boss here to test out my Dark Commander team. This should be decent, hopefully. Let's see what sort of damage I can do. So here we go. Just a simple left to right team, then hopefully hit for around 50Q with a bit of luck. Let's see what happens. Ideally want a couple of power gems loose from the main match and just match the highest value power gems here, since it's a Slayer event. Has to be played a bit different to Commander, and that's actually really good damage considering this is a Commander deck. I've moved across to the Umbral multi-boss for my next team that I'm going to be using. I'm curious to how much damage this can actually do, especially with the one event card with that nice boost. Right, so this should be quite interesting. High performance unit area when the enemy's turn counter is on 1. Then I'll try 3, 4, 5, 1, I think, on the activation order, and then see what happens basically. I will probably still end up using my Commander team, but this could be useful for the multi-bosses, so let's see what happens. Right, here we go. So, keep an eye on the Freedom Fighter's damage. The nuke will hit for 5 times the main damage. Let's see what happens. So again, just match the highest value power gems since it's a Slayer event. Then 14.5Q, and then the nuke will wipe out the boss in 1 hit. Wow! Okay, that was kind of unexpected. I was not expecting that sort of damage, but that's pretty decent actually. Right, and now for the standard Water Slayer team. I will use this on the Radiant, since I've already used up a few of the cards on the Umbral. Let's see what sort of damage this team can do. Alright, here we go. So these multi-bosses are actually really good for trophies. I'm hoping I get more of these throughout the event. Rather lucky to get so many to spawn. Let's see what happens with this team though. All the damage in this team is on Sovereigns of the Dance, so that's the card to keep an eye on. Have to use area now and then. I think just left to right is the best way to use this team. Right, here we go. Something like this. That's not bad. Anything loose from the main match? Yeah, there's one at the top of the screen, so that should improve the damage. Then again, just match the highest value power gems. 85.5Q again. That's surprisingly high damage. So all of these teams are doing reasonable damage. None of them are exactly spectacular, but they're all decent, and that's probably enough to get me through this event and get a reasonable position in Emperors. Right, there we go. I've finished clearing those multi-bosses. Let's have a look at the Zodiac store while we're here. Right, so you can summon the Zodiac bosses from here. I might as well go ahead and try one of these. I've not summoned one by myself yet. Let's have a look at what this looks like. Well, it's Earth, so this could be interesting. I need a good fire team, really, to take this down. Birthright Slumber, ouch. That's not the nicest skill. Let's try it with my Dark Commander team, though. I think I'll rally it after I have had a go at hitting it. I don't think I'll do too much damage. Slumber is a nasty skill. I don't think it matters too much anyway regarding these bosses. As long as you get the tag in, there's only additional rewards for getting MVP. There we go, I've taken off over half, so that's good enough for me. Go and rally 5 of my friends to this boss. There we go. They can finish it off and get the tokens from the boss, I think. Just have a quick look at that to check. Yeah, there we go. It's the finder that gets the most coins out of this. MVP or dealing damage doesn't really matter too much by the looks of it. Anyway, let's go back up here. I'm sure that boss will be defeated in a minute. Let's go and get the collection. So bear in mind the Zodiac bosses do require stamina, so don't use up all your stamina. This is just a collection for Almar, so nothing really exciting here. Go and claim all of that anyway, though. There we go. These collections are pretty outdated still, unfortunately. We need something decent. Mana, or dare I say it, gems would be nice in the collection. I always need more mana, so a mana collection would be really helpful. Let's have another quick look at the Zodiac store to see what sort of items you can get here. So, here's the store itself. You're going to need to defeat quite a few of these bosses to get anything decent, unfortunately. But there we go. I think you can also fuse the coins together to make the end coin, whatever that is, a rainbow coin or something. I'm not sure. I'll just go back up quickly. Yeah, chromatic Zodiac coins. Those are the ones that get you most of the items here, or most of the decent items. So this might take a bit of time to get anywhere, but that's what the store looks like. Plus there's a leaderboard over here that gets you more of the Zodiac chromatic coins, which is useful, I guess. The higher up gets more coins, up to a maximum of 20. There we go. Let's have a look at the Dragoon or Warden while I'm here. Right, let's go across. Oh, it's a Light Warden. In some ways, light is the weakest type of defense, but yeah, it's got Dispel Gem Silence, which could be useful. Drain is not exactly an exciting defender skill, so probably a Warden to give a miss to, if I'm being honest. It looks pretty cool though. I like the artwork on this card. That's what it is anyway. Right, and let's go over to the Ultimates page. Probably the last thing I'm going to do in this video, just have a quick look at the Ultimate form. Might as well go and claim this while I'm here. I'll go and claim the 6-star bonus hero as well by upgrading the support hero. And there we go, done like that, nice and quick. Let's go and craft the random bonus hero. Let's see what I get. Oh, I think that's the main hero. Now that's tempting me to make the other half of this deck, since I already got half from the vault. You can see there, I would be able to get the shiny hero. I will have a think about that. Not sure yet. Anyway, let's go and have a look at the Ultimate form. There we go, Moon-Blessed Monarchs. Gives the next Dark Slayer to activate their battle skill a 560% damage buff. So that's the main selling feature of the card. There's not actually a huge amount more on the card, if I'm being honest, apart from a few power gems. So it is all about that 560% damage buff. A support ultimate form, basically. That's kind of strange for Immortal Killer. Immortal Killer cards are normally hitting cards. If you are going to get the one card, the only one worth getting on its own is Moonshine's Mage, since that has the 560% damage buff. I was very lucky to get that. It's a really big buff, and this card on its own is probably good enough if you can't get the ultimate form. It is a nice buff though, so a good deck to get if you can get it. Then the other card, Tuzi of Blazing Moonlight, probably said that completely wrong. This just has the power gems and damage immunity. Not really going to help you too much in the event, unfortunately, on its own. But that's what it looks like. Alright, and I'm going to end the video at this point. I hope that was interesting and helpful. As always, if you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always very much appreciated. I've included a previous video on the screen, plus a playlist. Plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.